Good morning. Welcome to the program agenda here on Cignal TV, channels 8 and 250 of the One News team. And we are broadcasting today, as you may have noticed, if you're a regular viewer, we are broadcasting from Barangay Capitolio here in Pasig City. Muwi na muna po tayo dahil maya-maya laang ay meron ng World Game Foul Expo, and it is something that I personally want to see, not having been able to attend it for several years. Okay, so today is January 20, 2023. It's a Friday. I do hope that your week went through just fine, that you all got the breaks, that many of you are feeling good, healthy, and very productive week this week. And tayo naman po, very productive. But the weekend, we now all have to relax, okay? During the weekend, relax, take a break, ha? Wala nang juicy. Hindi na yata uso yung juicy ngayon, ano? Okay, so let's go with our daily starter. And I do recommend, I do encourage all of you to listen and really think about this daily starter. Namnamin po ninyo because kadalasan many of us go through this and we don't pay attention. Okay, we ask God to change our situation, not knowing He put us in the situation to change us. Okay, I read this recently from for our daily starter, and I realized that it is a very common behavior when we find ourselves in a situation that is uncomfortable, very unfamiliar, very challenging, daunting, or scary, or not happy. We pray to God, Lord, alisin mo ko dito, etc., etc. And we fail to sometimes realize that God put us there to change us. I know of people who ended up with responsibility, and they didn't want the responsibility, thinking that, it was a burden, not realizing yung responsibility na yon ay ang magbabago sa kanilang pagkatao at kanilang pag-uugali. Okay, so reflect on that. Are you in that situation just by accident or by God's intention? Okay, I have been in several situations where I confess it was uncomfortable, lived in places where it was very challenging, and in the end, it all changed me. It slowly peeled me of my bad character, my bad traits, my bad habits. And I am still a work in progress, a work of the Lord. But I have to say that God has placed me in situations that made me better, no matter how challenging they were. Pag-isipan niyo po yan this weekend if you are one of those in that kind of a situation. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star, January 20, 2023, Friday. The headline is, RAPs recommended over DepEd laptops. Okay, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee has recommended the filing of criminal and administrative charges against former education and budget officials allegedly involved in a conspiracy to facilitate the purchase of overpriced laptops for online teaching at the height of the COVID pandemic in 2021. The panel, chaired by Senator Francis Tolentino, merely admonished former Department of Education Secretary Leonor Briones, who approved the DepEd procurement request, apparently without the benefit of relevant facts that would have alerted her on the true intention behind the adjustment in the plans. Okay. Pero lumalabas po dito, as it turns out, it's recommendatory in nature. The big question is, who's really supposed to be doing this filing of charges or legal cases against DepEd officials and DBM personnel? Kasi may mga nagsasabi po, ayan na naman, nag-imbestiga na naman, nagrekomenda na naman, pero walang nangyari. Okay, at the top of the front page, the header of the Philippine Star states, BBM says the SCS or South China Sea's tension keeps him up at night. Pinupuyat siya, hindi siya makatulog. He regularly thinks about it at night, in the daytime, etc. Because in the words of the President, the Philippines is the bystander in the conflict between, or the tensions between nations, particularly the United States and China. But if anything goes wrong or goes bad, we are the ones, the Philippines, who's going to get hurt. Okay, so ganyan po, mahirap po talaga yung sitwasyon na yan. In fairness to anyone in charge or anyone involved, we don't want a Ukraine-Russia situation in our neighborhood because people will die, economies will die, countries will come into conflict, and everyone suffers. Okay, for a brighter part of the news, the big photo, okay? Ewan ko kung good news, pero mukhang good news naman po ito. Ayan, okay. Big photo at the top of the front page, almost a third or one-fourth of the front page of the Philippine Star is a photograph of Chinatown, dragon-themed lampposts in Chinatown district of Manila. Okay? Huwag mo isama yung may bawaw. Yung ano lang, yung photo lang nung nandiyan dyan sa Chinatown. Okay? Chinatown in Manila is getting ready for a lot of action come Saturday, Sunday, especially on Sunday, when the Filipinos and the Filipino-Chinese community celebrates, okay, the Lunar New Year. And yan po ay magkakaroon daw ng food festival and grand fireworks display after 2 years. 2 years na no happening in Chinatown. So let's find out also, because some of our Chinese Filipino friends are asking, Cito, hindi ba holiday sa Monday? Okay, kasi holiday daw yung Chinese New Year, baka naman pati yung Monday maging holiday. Okay. Meanwhile, further down in the program, 9 firms eyeing investing, expanding in the Philippines. After all the meetings and activities at Davos in Switzerland for the World Economic Forum, officials said that at least 9 companies have expressed interest in investing in the Philippines or expanding their operations in the country. Trade Secretary Fred Pascual said members of the economic team had initiated meetings with business executives in this Swiss city to promote the Philippines as an investment destination. Yun po. That is the reason why the top CEOs of the country were invited to join the entourage of the President, Bongbong Marcos, in Switzerland Kasi syempre, pag bossing to bossing na ang usapan, dyan na nagkakatanungan. Is it really okay? Is it stable? What is the situation? Should we go in slow and easy or fast and furious? Ayun po. But that is good news for the Philippines. Okay. Meanwhile, the center photo of the Philippine Star front page is a photo of President Marcos speaking next to World Economic Forum President Borge Brende during a session, a session at the Congress Center during the WEF annual meeting in Davos. Now, it seems that during the time he spent there, he was asked questions like, why did PBBM decide to go back to politics? His answer was, it was for the continuation of the Marcos legacy and family survival that made BBM enter politics. Ayun po, no? So patuloy pa rin yung storyahan regarding the return of the comeback. Okay. Meanwhile, the Philippine Ports Authority yesterday asked the public to give the Trusted Operator Program Container Registry and Monitoring System, or TOP-CRMS, a chance amid backlash from business and other groups. Okay, in case you're wondering, ano na naman yan, Cito? Okay. Well, there are so many empty containers. Pag sinabi po natin containers, yan po yung mga 10, 20, well, mostly 20 and 40-foot steel containers na pinaglalagyan ng kung ano-anong bagay, goods that are shipped into the Philippines or out of the Philippines. Shippers use containers, and it has been a problem for so many years, if not decades. Kasi po, nakatiwangwang, nakakalat kung saan-saan. The containers are scattered all over the place, left, just parked anywhere, and they create both environmental, physical hazards, and also is a mess. Talagang magulo po, no? And ayun, so I think part of the program of the PPA is to do a registry. Siguro lalagyan na yun ng mga serial numbers, chips, whatever. And the PPA can now track who is the owner and require the owner to clean up his backyard or manage his containers or else pay a fine. And that is why some people are complaining. Okay, meanwhile, sa balita pa rin, Gigi Reyes. In case you are wondering, who on earth is Gigi Reyes? Siya po yung Chief of Staff, former Chief of Staff of former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, who along with JPE was put in jail under detention since 2014 laang naman, okay? For the involvement and tawag nila dito ano ba yung kaso nila noon? They basically were charged with plunder. Plunder lang naman Okay, and because of the plunder case along with Janet Napoles, Gigi Reyes has been in detention since 2014. Unfortunately for her boss, if we may call him that, was given, I believe, bail and humanitarian condition in 2015, but not Gigi Reyes. So ayun po, no? So now she has been given the right to a speedy trial, to post bail, and will be allowed to travel even abroad if need be, for medical reasons, I'm assuming, and she has to report to the Sandigan Bayan every time she wants to leave or return. Ayan po. Okay, so we're down to last three items. Bottom left of the Philippine Star, London-based Inchcape PLC, a leader in independent multi-brand automotive distribution, entered into a joint venture agreement with luxury vehicle distributor CATS Group. Okay, and yan po ang photo nila na sila ngayon ay sama-samang magninegosyo. And to the bottom right of the Philippine Star, we have, okay, Goodbye Tiger, Hello Rabbit. Yung kaibigan nating Malabon Zoo owner, Manny Tangco, holds a pair of Angora rabbits during the launch of the fascinating Live Rabbits of the World exhibit yesterday. The Lunar Year celebration bids goodbye to the tiger and welcomes the Year of the Rabbit. Okay. Ilayo mo lang yan at baka malamon ng tigre yung mga koneho mo, Manny. Okay. Last but not good news for some, and I still support it because it is one investment that benefits Filipinos. It's final. The Social Security system will proceed with contribution rate hike, and if I read correctly and my memory is still serving me, it will now go from 13% to 14%. 1% contribution hike lang naman. But we will try to get the bosses of Social Security system or their spokesperson to explain all of this and give us an update in the future programs, God willing. Okay, so yun na po. That is the wrap-up of the news in the Philippine Star. Please read it today, get a copy, subscribe, go online, and meron din po tayong opinion column. I wrote a column. I write 3 columns a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the Philippine Star. So your support will be much appreciated. Let's now go to our topic this week, no? Yung topic po natin this week, very sensitive topic because I have been hearing stories of rich men, okay, rich men who malikot ba, okay, who have a penchant for dalliances, for having misencounters with the beautiful or sexy kind, and end up having unplanned children when in fact they already have their own set of family. And this has become quite common, or hindi mo siyang become, medyo nangyayari na po, matagal na nangyari, among elderly, seniorly men. Suspicion is because as you get older, you get lonelier because your wife is no longer interested in the sex life, or you want to prove yourself. Ang problema, while proving to yourself or enjoying pleasure, nagkakalat ng lagim sa barangay. And what happens is it complicates family relationships, it complicates inheritance, etc., etc. So we're not going to talk to a lawyer. We are not going to talk to a family counselor. I am going to talk to someone who has a better solution. Okay? Gabriel, roll out the Betamax, please.
Dr. Ryan Cablitas is a board-certified urologist with over 8 years of experience. Cablitas also specializes in pediatrics urology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility.
Okay, good morning, Doc Ryan.
Good morning, Sir Cito. And
Okay,
thank you for having me here.
Doc Ryan, kasi yung intro sa'yo, specialist ka for infertility, etc. Pero ang topic natin today is not about curing infertility. It is controlling over fertility of certain men in certain age group. Nakiusap kami na can you please talk to us about vasectomy? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the topic is vasectomy dahil may mga kakilala ko dapat talaga putulan ang kanilang kalikutan. Doc Ryan, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you po. And I have to clarify also, no, I'm not a subspecialist, but I am a general urologist who also caters into infertility and andrology among patients in my field. No? So I have to clarify on that, sir. But I am a general urologist. I practice also concerns on prostate, infertility, and other concerns on male reproductive aspects, sir. Mm-hmm. Now, with regard to vasectomy, sir, vasectomy is a non-invasive option for prevent pregnancy. So, vasectomy is a male contraceptive procedure or method that can be done on an outpatient setting. Madali lang siyang gawin. Mm-hmm. It is safe and it is effective. As a counterpart to the female procedures, which is offered by bilateral ligation, which is usually done kasabay ng panganak or during a major operative procedure. Mm-hmm. Ito ay pwedeng gawin ng outpatient procedure. It is safe, okay? Mm-hmm. So I may, can I share a slide of how it looks like?
Sana lumabas kung ano kasi medyo yung iba medyo quizzy yung ating team Pakilabas nga Gab kung merong slide dyan.
Anyway, it is just done in a local procedure, a local setting. Mm-hmm. This is wherein your vas deferens or your tubes where the sperm passes through or similia at dumadaan mula sa testis palabas sa katawan. So during sexual contact or during contact, so sperm passes through the urethra. Okay. So vas is the tube wherein it is ligated. Okay. It is ligated or cut. So these are the options wherein the passage is interrupted by either cutting it or putting a string or ligating it. So the continuity para po lumabas po siya ay tatanggal. Okay. So, kapag ganito, hindi na, mababawasan na ang chance na mababawasan. No? Kasi there may be failure rates. There's no, there can be no assurance until you really have semen-analysis parameters after the procedure, after 2 or 3 months, na zero talaga. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, it is important also that patients or men, at reproductive age, should know the failure rates, the safety, and the efficacy of this procedure as an option to prevent pregnancy. So when they are informed about this, they can accept all the possible risks and the safety measures with regard to this relatively simple procedure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Doc Ryan, pasensya ka na, no? Medyo nagpapatawa ako ng konti because maraming takot there are a lot of people who have who are misinformed, misgivings, etc. But ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we invited Doc Ryan to join us this morning and the reason we are talking about vasectomy, okay, is for several points, okay? I've heard, okay, and I've learned firsthand that some of the people I know, especially yung mga widows ba, okay, tama ba? Hindi, widower ba yun? Sa lalaki, yung mga namatayan ng misis, ano? Siyempre, they get lonely, or some people who have a bedridden wife, they get lonely and they seek comfort, and when they go out, they inevitably get into a relationship. It could be a one-night thing, it could one-night stand, or into flings, etc. Or pag ika nga, byudo na nga, bigla nagkaka-girlfriend, ay nabubuntis. And then nagkakaproblema po yung mga pamilya because kahit na sabihin mong byudo ka na o hindi ka traidor, but once you have a child by another woman, it complicates the setup of families and of course it complicates inheritance. In fact, dalawang kilala kong milyonaryo were advised immediately by their own sons, Papa, please, magpaputol ka na. Anong magpaputol? Magpa-vasectomy ka na dahil baka magkaroon pa kami ng complication and competition. So that's one. But you raised something interesting, Doc Ryan. You said that vasectomy is A, non-invasive, B, it can be done on outpatient basis, and C, that because generally we rely on the woman na siya yung magpalaygate or magpaputol tubo, but you said it involves operation, surgery, and it's a more complicated procedure. Could you please explain all of this? Because this morning, you're our only guest. We dedicated this time to educate people on vasectomy.
Okay, sir. So first and foremost, vasectomy as a procedure is you interrupt the continuity of the tube that connects from the outside to the inside of the travel passageway of the semen of the patient o ng tao.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So sa Tagalog, yung similya langgagaling sa itlog ng mga lalaki, lumalabas yan sa isang tubo hanggang tumatawid doon sa nilalabasan ng ihi. Tama ba yun?
So, yung urethra po yun. No? Labasan ng ihi. Isang daan po ang labasan ng ihi, pati ang similya. Okay? So po, ang ganon, ang vas po ay, ang goal ng vasectomy para hindi na lumabas ang similya. Para hindi na makabuntis. Pangyayaring ito, kasi, ang issue lagi dito, safe ba yan? Lagi natatakot sila lalaki, baka operahan, baka may kailangan putulin. Totoo, may kailangan i-discontinue. No? Is never a continuity of the passage of the semen. Ang issue lang kasi common dito is yung belief, no? Ay, baka may mangyari dyan, baka may mangyari. Kaya commonly, ang nag-undergo ng prevention for fertility, for pregnancy ay yung babae. But studies have shown, no? Simple studies that it is, no? The safety and the convenience yung kulang, no, to disseminate among men, not only in some selected but in general population. There was a study in 2011 that the safety and information is very much important, no matter how gaano kataas ang educational attainment ng isang lalaki. Okay? So it is safe. Bakit? It can be done in a local setting or minsan it's a less invasive procedure, no? Kasi sinasabi natin na non-invasive, may malaking hiwa. Okay. So may iba't ibang style. Ang non-scalpel technique, which common na ina-advocate na madali, ay yung hindi ka gagawa ng isang malaking hiwa, no? You inject anesthesia sa area lang na kung saan puputulin o ilaligate ang vas, no? Sa may pagitan ng singit pupunta sa may scrotal area. Kakapain yon, lalagyan ng anesthesia, dadakmain, at mula doon ilalabas ang vas. Kasi madaling makapa yun, yung vas na yun, kasi makapal siya na tube. No? It's a thick and very palpable tube. Alam ng doktor yun na kung ano man yung nakakapa niya, yun na yun. Nasa ilalim lang siya ng balat ang konting taba. So kapag nakakapa na yun, may aangat yun, at pag naka-anesthesia na, pwede nang ilabas at iligate with surgical suture. And from then, sasara na yun at simple. No? Hindi doon makakauwi yung pasyente.
Doc Ryan, kasi ewan ko kung nagbabasketball ka, no? O kaya nakikipagkulitan ka sa mga barkada. Mapitik ka lang sa bayag o sa itlog, talaga namimilipit tayo. So I think that's how we connect the pain.
Yeah, the pain or the anxiety. Yes,
to the crotch area, 'di ba? Kumbaga sabi nga ng mga babae, umiiyak ka nang napitik ka lang sa bayag. Subukan mo nga yung manganak para mahala so that you try giving birth then you will know what real pain is about. Diba? Sabi, women always tell us. So you're saying that as far as vasectomy is concerned, it can be done in a clinic. Can it be done at home?
Yes, actually, it can be done in a simple clinic setting. Actually, it is done in some non-urologists actually do this procedure. Some non-urologists, no? So, hindi lang urologist o specialista sa urology ang gumagawa ito. Some even non-urologists do it in their clinics, in their minor OR setting. Because what they need are simple or minor surgical procedures. Okay? At saka, kadagdagan pa dito, mabilis siya at minsan parang walang nangyari kasi parang may tinusok lang for the local anesthesia and that's it. But it has to be done on both sides. No? Hindi para isa, okay na. Because remember that we have two tubes and two testes. Okay. So we have two sources. Dalawa
pala yan.
Opo.
Okay.
So, kaliwat kanan, no? Dalawang
parang ganito. Parang ganyan. Ayan.
Lalabas. Exactly
Okay.
po. So you have to do it bilaterally. That's why ligation is also done in women bilaterally. Because we have a pair of gonads. Ang gonads ay ang testis ng lalaki, dalawang itlog. Gonads sa babae ay ovaries.
Okay.
Ngayon, ang takot rin na mabayagan, mabayagan, tamaan sa itlog.
Oh.
Actually, hindi naman doon tatamaan eh. Dito sa may taas pa. Okay? Sa may pasingit na area. Doon yung mismo.
So, sa pagitan ng mga itlog at nung butas ng puwet, doon sinasalat.
Opo. Packet na sir, papunta na dito sa may singit. Or sa inguinal area.
Okay. Doon sa may crotch.
Yes, may crotch. Pag ganon, papunta sa scrotum, no? So you can imagine how it looks like, okay? So ganyan sa singit, kasi dyan yung area na kung saan ang target mo mas makakapa yung vas. It's the most superficial and most safer access. And madaling lagyan ng anesthesia, madaling makapa. So in terms of access and safety, doon siya madalas ginagawa sa area na yon.
Okay, Doc Ryan, doktor ka, pero siguro nagpunta ka na rin sa dentista. You've been to a dentist. Which is more painful? Having a vasectomy or having your teeth pulled out?
Actually, it's by experience as a doctor and as a patient before as a dentist. No? Actually, I have learned actually the anxiety is what worsens the pain or what the sensation. No? The anxiety or the anticipation actually gives more heightened pain, the anticipation. Sometimes, kung tutusin, nung pangalawang injection na sa ngipin mo, alam mo may dumiin, pero hindi siya masakit. Pero sa unan, takot na takot tayo. Ganon din sa isang pasyente. Sa isang side, nilagyan ng anesthesia, takot na takot. Ang tagal mong magawa kasi very hesitant siya. Okay, next side naman tayo. He anticipated less pain. He was more relaxed. And there you go. So, may anticipation and anxiety factor kasi minsan on the perception of pain. Whatever the procedure, in general, whether it's minor procedure or medium procedure, yun yung nakikita kong behavior ng patients in their anxiety for the pain. But in terms of pain, may different pain tolerance kasi mga pasyente, whether it's a local procedure like a vasectomy o a regional procedure tulad ng dental extraction.
Yeah, may mga kilala kasi ako. I know someone, God rest her soul. Hindi ko na sasabihin. Pero, aray. Sabi ng dentist, ma'am, ito yung syringe. Bakit ka umaaray?
Exactly, di ba po? Because may anticipation and anxiety, so it heightens their sensation to whatever. Hindi pa nga tusok eh. Minsan kakapain pa lang, hawakan pa lang. Ganon din po. Ako nga po, nung tutuloyin ako, nung mag-grade 5 pa lang ako, naalala ko rin yun. So, I realize that it's more of the anticipation of and anxiety rather than the pain itself. Because you're given local anesthesia to desensitize that area.
Okay, what about, now that you mentioned anesthesia, and I mentioned earlier na sa akin, I think the gentlemen who are ito kasi nagiging topic of conversation doon sa mga rich widowers Kumbaga na wag na magkalat ng lagim But the concern now is, okay, you said it's non-invasive, minor, very very minor surgery, and you can literally walk out of the clinic right after it's done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because hindi ka naman, unless you are given final anesthesia na yung both extremities are affected, na hindi makakagalaw at hindi manhid, syempre hindi ka makakagalaw pa agad with the next 4 to 6 hours because final anesthesia applies. So we avoid as much as possible over use of anesthetic. Una-una, safety rin yan ang aspect. Safety, efficacy, as well as cost. So the cost of applying this local anesthesia to that affected area versus spinal anesthesia, and even offer sedation para mas relax, So it outweighs parang over excess of of the cost as well as the safety. And most of the time, it is advocated to be done in a local anesthesia setting para tapos agad at safe agad para sa pasyente.
Okay, so there are no risks even to elderly men because yung mga napapag-usapang mga nilalang ng mga lalaking kilala ko are in their 70s, 80s, and sabi ko nga, bakit yung pinoproblema? And someone told me, hello, yung ganyang edad, nagkakalat pa ng lagim yan, meron pang balay ang mga yan.
Totoo po. Sometimes when these issues arise, I would like to have all members of the family as much as possible to be present with regard to doing this procedure. Okay, alam natin being a doctor, I have to be objective of what I should be doing. These are the pros and cons, but other aspects with regard to family matters will have to be settled in a table wherein everybody should be present. And I laid down the cards of the safety, what should be done. Dapat hindi po muna gagamitin ito after a few days until zero yung So by that, everybody knows how the procedure will end up, what will be the effect, and at the same time, sila na bahala sa mga issues nila with family matters. For me, what I'll be doing, if their concern is safety and risk, if kung matanda na at may ibang sakit, I will have the patient undergo a medical risk assessment or a clearance with an internist. Okay?
Ayun.
Maski sabihin mong maliit lang ito na tusok, maski sabihin mong may maliit ka na ibibigyan na injection ng anesthesia, you'll never know, These elderlies may be more of risky kapag minor procedure. So you should have a medical risk assessment if you doubt, the medical condition of that elderly patient. Para at least kung sasabihin ng assessment ay mukhang delikado, hinay-hinay na muna, then I will entertain that doubt of a risky assessment para at least alam din, ay risky ito, maski sabihin mo ganun, baka biglang mag-heart attack o biglang mag-stroke. So these are some minor things that have to be elevated kapag gusto mo talaga ang safety ang i-prioritize over anything else.
Yeah, because anesthesia, the stress of the anxiety, the anticipation, kung mataas na yung blood pressure, kung merong diabetic condition, nako po, baka hindi vasectomy ang ginagawa mo, baka biglang mauwi sa open heart surgery. Okay, we'll go for a quick break, Doc Ryan. Pagbalik natin, is it reversible? Bakit no use for 3 days or 1 week, etc., etc.? We'll come back to this. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program agenda. Still with us, discussing the process, how you go through vasectomy. We have none other than our guest, Dr. Ryan Cablitas. He's a urologist and an infertility specialist, if that's correct. Doc Ryan, you said before with the break, before you cut anything or do minor surgery with the patient, you meet with the family, you lay out what's going to happen, etc. Is part of the dialogue discussing the consequence of the vasectomy? Kasi may mga nagtatanong pare, ano ba yan? Permanent solution na ba yan? No return of the comeback? No turning back na ba yan?
Yes, the goal of vasectomy is actually to have a permanent contraceptive solution to prevent fertilization. So because anatomically, you sever the tubes, the vas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so either by cutting it or by putting ligating sutures on both sides para hindi na dumaloy at mag-mix sa fluid ng seminal fluid ang sperm cell. Okay. Now the issue of that is, Doc, in case magbagong isip ko, in case magbago katulad ng mga ibang mga maagang vasectomy sa ibang bansa. No?
Mm-hmm.
Doc, gusto kong mag-asawa ngayon a foreigner wants to have a wife here, no? May mga ganong issues, no? Even in some countries. Okay, so there is a solution actually to that particular issue. Okay, and that is what we call as the reversal of the vasectomy. So yung pinagputulan, you reconstruct, no, the discontinued portion, no, kung saan ginawa yung vasectomy. So parang yung dating nagputol na, nagpepeklat yan. Okay? Either hiniwa, nagkasugat, it heals off. So this or yung pa yung dalawang. So by principle, you put both ends together again and hoping it will heal off as patent as possible. Okay? So that's what we call as the principle of reversal of vasectomy. Okay? Some may even reverse it by putting directly the epididymis. Okay? Kung sa tingin mo alanganin at mahaba ang peklat ng both ends, i-connect mo siya mas malapit sa testis or source ng sperm. So sa epididymis. So technically, that principle is just reconstructing what was previously cut or discontinued. Kung bakit dating putol, idudugtong mo lang. Okay? Ang goal lang kasi dapat yan, no, maging patent. Sayang naman dinugtong mo, pero hindi naman para, wala naman palang lagusan. So, failure din. Futile din yung purpose mo na para idugtong. Wala rin namang butas para pagdaanan. So, dalawang issue dito, na re-reconnect mo at dapat patent. Okay? Or else, no, it's other than that, it's a wait and see until makalabas at mag-seminalis ka, lalabas ang similya. Or the other more effective thing is mabuntis. Okay? Yung partner, yes. So, that's the principle of reversing the initial procedure of vasectomy.
Okay, there are no other system like some people will put inserts, mga ganon. It has to be what was cut must be reconnected.
Yeah, that's an option actually, because the option is actually having fertilization. You have someone pregnant in a more natural way rather than the other side of the bakod na tipong yung assisted reproductive techniques na where you harvest sperm, then do the assisted reproductive technique with the infertility obstetrician.
Oh, which is your line, if I'm not mistaken.
Kasama po sa partner na po ng obstetrician na infertility obstetrics po.
Obstetrics pala. Sorry.
Kasi sila na po
Oh.
Naglalagay na ng ng IVF na po yung mga ganon.
Yun. Okay. Now, the question is, because meron naman ako mga kilala, mas bata pa sa'yo eh. I think, or mga kaedad mo, who in the past had a vasectomy because they already had 4 kids, and he, at least he was someone I knew, much younger than me. Sabi niya, Kuya, I just decided to have a vasectomy. So how was it? Wala lang. Normal.
Exactly. Totoo po. So, yung heightened the perception of pain and anxiety, talagang yun yung nagiging hindrance, especially in our country.
Mm-hmm.
In our country. So, there was a study I mentioned earlier in 2011, 2012, wherein a questionnaire among around 600 patients around nasa 50 years of age know that there's a vasectomy as an option for contraception. It turned out that may significant effects with regard to aspects of safety and information. So yun ang kulang. That's why it's a good thing that this is offered to social media and in general population, because there's still, based on that, on that study, that information and dissemination is safe about safety, and safety and experience of patients will really be a significant factor rather than educated ba, nasa Maynila ba, or nasa probinsya ba, provincial cities. Hindi yun ganong significant na nakita with regard to that study.
What are the effects of vasectomy to the patient? Because there is this concern that if you get vasectomy, nako pare, you will become a eunuch. You will get fat, and you won't get an erection anymore. You will not be able to enjoy sex. The end na ng buhay mo yan. Those are the things that are being said there.
Oh, yan ang kalaban natin, because a lot of misinformation can be easily spread, and in particular to that also, that concern, aside from aspects of safety and takot, yung being man, na natatanggal ba, na tumataba ka ba, walang significant hormonal problem na nagagawa ang procedure, because you just discontinue the passage ng semilla. Yung gland, yung glandular or hormone production ng testis or ng gonad ay hindi na interrupt. Okay, hindi na interrupt. You still produce testosterone. Testosterone is produced by the gonad, the testis, or itlog. 90% ng testosterone mula sa gonad sa itlog. And it spreads in our body through the bloodstream, not through that tube. Okay? Hindi lang isa ang daanan ng paggawaan, kasi dalawang purpose ng testis or gonad o ng bayag, may itlog.
Okay.
Paggawaan ng semilya at saka paggagawa ng testosterone ng lalaki. And it keeps us being male. May bigote, nakakalbo, muscle. So that's it. So with the vasectomy and its effect on the possible glandular portion ng function ng bayag, ng itlog, hindi na apektuhan. Kasi sa bloodstream kumakalat ang testosterone, not through that tube.
Okay, alam mo, magmamanok ako, I breed chickens, so hindi nabubugok yung itlog pag hindi nagagamit yung similya. The semen does not spoil just because you had a vasectomy, because that's another one of those myth or misconceptions.
May self-disposing function din ng yung ganung aspeto, yung ganung prinsipyo na naipon doon. So ang katawan self-disposes to what is not used. Okay, so walang naiipon doon na talagang nag-engorge after the procedure. So yun yung ganung with regard to that concern po. Kaya kapag pinuputol naman, ang iba kasi may iba kinakapon, di ba? Kung tulad iba ng aso, ano.
Yeah.
So iba kasi kapag ganun, may effect na para tumaba, lumaki. Okay? Yun, you're not just ligating or cutting off only the vas, but also the entire spermatic cord. So kapag ganun, pati yung glandular function ng testis, na-discontinue na rin kasi na-ligate din eh.
Ayun.
Kasi may isang tangkay yan eh, kasama doon, lamang doon sa isang tangkay, si vas. Okay? Kapag nagbabasectomy, yung parte lang ng vas ang inaano mo mula sa tangkay na yon, the spermatic cord. You isolate it, you cut it off. That's for the purpose of vasectomy only.
Okay, so vasectomy is just cutting the passage, cutting to shut down the crossing, but it is not interfering or going to remove or impair yung gonads, glandular area, which in turn gives us our hormones. And naaliw ako doon sa sinabi mo na pag mataas ang testosterone ng lalaki, nakakalbo. Or numinipis ang buhok. Kanya pala marami akong kaibigang kalbo Masyadong mataas ang testosterone. Okay.
Marami rin sir, gano'n, no? Habang nagkakaedad, numinipis, pero kumakapalang balbas, ang manly features like bodily hair. Pero dito, numinipis. So bakit gano'n? Sana pati ito, kumapal sana.
Okay.
So, actually, my concern also.
Yeah, but going back to the concern of men, okay? Kasi, so, hindi nabubugok, it does not spoil, it self-liquidates or self-disperses whatever is produced in terms of semen. But what about erection and future enjoyment of sex? Because, I mean, the premise is we don't want accidental pregnancies or we don't want further pregnancies, so we have the vasectomy. But what about enjoyment of sex? What happens to the male patient?
And they still maintain their erection. They can still maintain their libido. Again, erection and libido are dependent on testosterone. So again, preserving that aspect. So ang usapin kasi ng infertility and andrology, parang nakapackage kasi yan sa area na yon, no? So hihimayin mo ang aspeto na kailangan ng pasyente. Contraception, dito tayo. But preserve other things, no? Hindi yung in-package na maapektuhan yung ganun. Remember that these men want quality of life. No? They need to do something else aside from the may contraception. They want to go to socials, no? Makapag-inuman, kasama pa rin, active pa yan sa sports. So we don't want to compromise their quality of life after that procedure. Yun lang yung gusto nila yung vasectomy. So that's also a concern na dapat ilinaw. Kaya maraming naniniwala na baka may mabagok, may mga mawalan ka ng gana, no? Lahat ng bagay na maaaring kakibat ng ganyang issue kasi may procedure na gagawin, dapat naka-clarify. And dapat yun ang advocacy ng mga doktor to inform patients na ano yung mga pinaniniwalaan nilang akala nila na tama, yung pala mali. And these are the myths that commonly evolve around people, no? Kaya mababa ang paniniwala sa procedure na ito in the general population.
Yeah, because I know someone who still looks good, still active, still a man's man, ika nga nila, loving his wife and taking care of his family. And siya nga yung nagsabi saan, parang wala rin namang nagbago. It's still the same as far, hindi ko lang nabubuntis na yung misis ko. Sabi ko, pare, naka-4 ka na, tama na yung 4, no? But, okay. So, as far as vasectomy is concerned, when do you advise against it?
Okay. So, virtually there will be no contraindications, no, for vasectomy as long as the patient is physically well. Okay. If there are a small percentage of patients, sila yung mga delikado for procedures, no, might end up the possible complications sa medical condition, whether cardiac conditions, pulmonary conditions, or even bleeding disorders, or even anesthetic, sobra siguro, anesthetic
reaction.
Allergy or reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sa experience ng mga kasama ko rin who has done in public hospitals, a lot of virtually kung sino wala silang na deny for the procedure, no? Because it's a relatively safe procedure, with a local anesthesia, and that's it. So, wala namang akong nakikita unless may medical o ibang condition na magbabawal sa kanilang ganitong proposed plan po.
Yeah, Doc Ryan, what about the cost? Kasi sabi mo, pwedeng outpatient, it is non-invasive, simpleng-simple, cost and recovery. We're down to our last two minutes, cost and recovery for vasectomy.
Okay. So, mag-iiba yan. Depende sa value ng binili mong anesthesia. Siguro kung local anesthesia with a basic, a vial or two of anesthesia, local anesthesia. Yun ang kailangan mo lang. Anesthesia, injection, pang-anesthesia, panghiwa, tapos gloves, and isang higaan. Ano pa man iba, ikaw na bahala sa clinic. Kung mas marami yung hospital o doktor o clinic, depende din. Then nadadagdag yung iba pang value. But remember, the basic you need is that the patient, pang-anesthesia, pang-injection, pang-incise, wala mag-incise, at pang-tahi. Or suture ligation.
And kung gagawin sa public hospital, veteranong-veterano na yung mga doktor sa public hospital, correct?
Opo, kasi nakareseta na yun. Dalhin mo na ito, gasa, at saka naman tape. Gusto mo, ikaw na bahala bumili ng mefenamic acid pagkalabas mo. Yun lang po. Kasi the procedure can be finished in as fast around 15 to 30 minutes kung gusto kong ihihimay ng maayos, umabot isang oras. Okay? Then the patient, para kang nagtuli. Kung saan pagkatapos ng procedure, nakakatayo yung pasyente at uuwi na lamang.
Pero hindi kasing sakit ng tuli.
No. Kasi iba rin yung perception ng tinutuli nung ikaw ay 12 anyos o 9 years old at takot na bata kumpara sa isang 35 anyos o 40 anyos na gusto magpa-vasectomy na, okay doc, naramdaman ko yung tusok, okay lang, hindi ako na masakit pero kaya ko. So again, andun yung factor ng ng maturity ng pasyente.
Healing period, Doc Ryan.
Healing period, no? So, kung maliit lang incision po, mag-heal yan dry na yan in 1 or 2 days. The following day, may konting hematoma kung meron man. So, practically, the patient can go home immediately after the procedure, go back to work if he's comfortable by the following day. That's it.
Okay, and then you said, wala mo ng action for several days.
Kasi kung gusto mo talaga ma-prevent, no? So, ang pinaka-ebidensya mo is a seminalisis. Okay? Because the seminalisis will tell you if zero na yung sperm doon sa pwede ka pa rin labasan ng similya.
Okay.
Pwede ka pa rin labasan ng fluid, seminal fluid.
Okay.
Pero fluid without the sperm na.
So you actually feel the sensation of an orgasm.
Yes, you can
you
still
have the
orgasm.
seminal fluids.
Yes. Intact pa dapat yon kasi yun lang ang tinatanggal mo yung bala mismo. No?
Okay. Kumbaga, blanco lang yung pinuputok.
Blanco
pero
lang. You shoot blank.
Hindi nakakadisgrasya sa pamilya.
Exactly po. Ganun po. No? Again, preserve yung quality of life ng lalaki.
Well, Doc Ryan, it's a very candid conversation, very informative, but nonetheless, we do hope more men realize this and don't push their wives to do what is a little more complicated than the option for men. Thank you very much, Doc Ryan.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Sir Cito.
Okay, good morning. God bless you, Dr. Ryan Cablitas. Okay, Cablitas, our guest for today. Let's go to our blessing for the week. Final blessing for the week. May your house, have no sickness, no death, no evil in 2023. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. God bless all of you. Thank you for keeping us company and watching Agenda this whole week. God willing, we'll see you again next week. Please keep it here on One News.